onto my Facebook.
Welcome to Tempted Tuesday. Since today is our first episode, I would like us to start at the beginning with litigation and divorce mindset, how to prepare mentally and emotionally for your case. I'm going to give this a couple of minutes and let some people log in. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So, whether you're catching this live or on a replay, I'd like you to also share this. Doing this live solo is actually pretty tough. So if there can be engagement, I would really appreciate it. So if you're here again, either live or on the replay, please put a little like or a little hello in there so I know that you're there. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Stephanie Hunnell. I'm the owner of the Hunnell Law Group in Asbury Park, New Jersey. We are a family law, real estate, and estate administration law firm. And I have been practicing in the capacity as a divorce attorney since about 2004. So I have a lot of experience. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of clients through the process of divorce. Before I was a divorce attorney and before I went to law school, I was a litigation paralegal and white collar defense work. So I'm also no stranger to litigation. I actually really enjoy the practice. So as a general rule, when we have people that are going through divorce or any type of litigation, and they act in a level of fear, they make decisions that end up being what you would call a defensive mindset. You react to what the other person is doing rather than being proactive and making decisions that are based on what is best for you and your future. You engage in sometimes petty things like trying to show them that you're not going to give up on something when you really should, and when you know it's really not going to benefit you in the future. So last year, it was the weekend before our country went on lockdown for COVID. A few friends of mine, we did an impromptu bar Olympics. So if you don't know what that is, we actually rented scooters, and we went around Asbury Park, and we went to the different bars, and we played whatever game they had. So we played darts, we played skee ball, we played all of these different things and competed with each other to see who won at each particular place. The loser had to buy dinner at the end. It was a lot of fun, except for the scooter part. So we were riding the scooters around town, and everybody was ahead of me. I was at the back of the line, and the scooters don't go very fast in general. But I was terrified. I was holding on to that scooter, like white knuckling it. Rich, you did not win every game, just so we're clear about that. And I was thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit a pothole. I'm going to be doing a tumble. I'm going to hit a rock. I'm going to do a tumble. If I go too fast, a car is going to come out. I'm not going to see it. A door is going to open and I'm going to be dead in the ground. I'm going to scrape my knees. All I could think about is all of the what ifs. As we're driving down the street, riding down the street, all of a sudden this guy walking down the street, complete stranger, screams at me and says, "You can't ride scared." I yelled back and I said, "But I am scared." As I made that declaration, I realized, and something clicked, that it's okay that I was scared, but I shouldn't be operating in that fear. I wasn't enjoying myself like I could. All of my friends were ahead, laughing and having a great time. So I took a deep breath. Something clicked again. Like I said, I took a deep breath. I sped up. I caught up with my friends, and I really enjoyed the rest of the day. Divorce and litigation in general can be extremely scary. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen with the litigation, but you also don't know what's going to happen with your life after the litigation. I see clients and friends all of the time making decisions or refusing to make decisions is a lot of the times based on the fear of the unknown. Worse, they make decisions based on what society has to say about relationships and the stigma of divorce. I don't know how many times I've heard someone say, "Yeah, I'll file for divorce after the kids are older," or "I'll hold off on this decision until I have a better job," instead of making a decision based on your current circumstances and also what you want out of your future. Yay! Hi, Aday. Thanks for joining us. So in preparation for the show, what I did is I Googled tempted and divorce. And what came up really surprised me. There were several pages of websites telling you how to avoid the temptation of divorce and all the reasons why you should save your family. Everything that I read, and I did it actually because I wanted to make sure nobody else was using the name online. But what I read was a series of articles that completely ignored what the individual wanted and the individual's happiness. It had nothing about somebody making themselves happy for their future. It was all about how you were doing the wrong thing. And a lot of them were religious material. And so they were calling people sinners and how you can avoid the temptation and you should meet with your clergy. Well, I call bullshit to all of that. Life is way, way too short for you to put your happiness on hold for somebody else's perspective of how you should be living and what you should be doing. So, what can you do through your litigation to make it more palatable for you? I tell my clients all the time, mentally prepare for your divorce litigation to take about a year. Frankly, with COVID right now, you probably are looking at more a year and a half, depending on where you file. But if you talk to an attorney, they can kind of give you an estimate of what they can expect in that area. So I think like Monmouth County, where I primarily practice, and Ocean County are moving relatively quickly. So that's number one. Number two, don't get stuck in the past. Look to your future and your future needs of your family. When you start thinking about what you want instead of what you had, you'll start making decisions that are going to benefit the life that you want to have. You'll also avoid a lot of time wasted making decisions that are designed to punish your spouse. So people sometimes you look at things, and I'm not giving up. I'll tell you a story. I had a divorce a few years ago, and more like 10 years ago. And these two people were fighting over yard gnomes, those little gnomes that are in a person's yard, and they probably had been there for 20 years. There were two of them. The wife wanted these yard gnomes and was not going to give up anything except if she got both of them because they were a male and a female, and that's it, that she was having them. That cost her hundreds and thousands of dollars to make this argument rather than saying, oh, split the difference. You each get one, or who cares, buy a new set of yard gnomes. But those types of decisions, by the way, she moved into a condo, so she didn't even have a yard for these yard gnomes. So she wasn't thinking about her future needs and was instead making a decision based on showing her husband that he was not going to get the better of her, even though it was just a yard gnome. Third, get all of your documents in order. When you have a complete picture of your finances, of your circumstances, what you're going to need in the future, you'll make better decisions. And you'll make those decisions quickly and confidently. If you know how much money you have in various accounts, then we can make decisions based on what you're entitled to for equitable distribution, for alimony, for child support. If you get a complete financial picture of what you want your lifestyle to be after the divorce is finalized, we'll be able to put those pieces into place. You'll know how much you can expect to pay for rent, for utilities, for all of those things. So that way you could make a decision confidently that is going to impact your future, as opposed to saying, I think I need $1,000 a month, but I'm not sure this is what I should get because the percentages are right. You should just know it's going to cost me $900. So I can give up that extra 100 if I want to in a bargaining chip to get the divorce to be resolved more expeditiously and without as many counsel fees. 4, self-care. I cannot stress this enough. Please take care of yourself during a litigation. It's extremely taxing on you emotionally, whether you wanted the divorce or not. It's especially true when you have children. If your children aren't okay, and this is what I tell my clients all the time. Like, actually, I tell them the opposite. I tell them, if you're okay, your kids are going to be okay. You could be really miserable and unhappy and depressed because it's a bad week in your divorce litigation. Go in the bathroom, cry your eyes out, take a long hot bath, go out with the girls, go get a massage, do what you need to do, and then come back and you'll feel so much better and be so much more present for your children. Finally, try really hard not to think of all the what ifs. We can't predict everything that happens. We can only make decisions on related to what is happening now. So people had one client in particular who wanted to have a strategy for all of the what ifs that were going to happen. He was very, very analytical. I'm like, we can only deal with what's happening now. What if she refuses to get a better job? How are we going to handle that? What if she takes half of my business? How am I going to recoup that? What if my business income stalls in a year? Who could have predicted what happened with COVID? What if I hit a freaking pothole while I'm riding my scooter? Folks, you cannot ride scared. You have to deal with what is based on what you actually want. The rest is going to follow. Thank you so much for joining me for today's first Tempted Tuesday. If you benefited from this, or even if you didn't, frankly, and you're my friend, I would really appreciate you to like and share this first live. Also, if you could head over to YouTube, I will put a post in the comments. It's currently under construction, so it's not all fancy and pretty, but you can subscribe and get alerts so that way you can see the other Tuesday's episodes. Thanks again for joining me.